Hello. Sorry, I didn't have anything to say there. Which is the review of the year can we just start again? Hello and welcome to my product review of 2018, which is a little add-on to my blog post, The Year in the Saddle. I thought I would just go through some of the things that I've tried out this year and just give my opinion on them. And it's important to state that none of this stuff has been provided for free. It's stuff that I've researched and bought and used myself as someone who does various different types of cycling. I thought we'd start off with clothing, obviously very important no matter what kind of cycling you're doing. This year seems to have been a year of jackets. I seem to have bought an inordinate number of jackets, so let's just go through them. So the first one I want to show you is this rather splendid leopard print number by Hackney GT, which is a jacket intended for essentially winter road cycling. You see you've got a fetching leopard print detail on the pockets on the back. This is an absolutely excellent jacket. It's thermally lined, it's water resistant, and I would definitely recommend it if you're cycling in temperatures below 5 degrees. It's absolutely perfect for that. Anything above that, it's a little bit too warm. Cost wise, they're around 100 quid, but they're made in the UK and they're absolutely excellent quality. Check out their website. They don't just do leopard print, they do all kinds of funky designs. Definitely check them out. Okay, so the next jacket I acquired this year is this Endura Gridlock. It's a commuter jacket. It's a little bit more of a cycling jacket. In terms of it's got the rear pocket, etc. Material is nice and waterproof. It's a little bit thicker, so it's kind of for winter with an extra layer underneath, or transitional seasons. You could also use it for winter cycling on the road bike or cycle touring. I think it was about 60 quid, and it's a really decent jacket. The next one I bought to replace a jacket I thought I'd lost and then found the other one, so I've got like loads of cycling jackets now. This one is from the dreaded Rapper. I splashed out in their summer sale. This is their packable waterproof jacket, which I actually really like because it doesn't look like a cycling jacket. It's one of these things that's really suitable for people who cycle in the city, and it definitely meets that requirement of being able to get off the bike, go into a bar or a meeting or whatever, and it doesn't look like you've come on the bike. So again, it's nice and waterproof, it's nicely finished. And it's even got 2 pockets here. It hasn't got the rear pocket, so it doesn't look like a cycling jacket at all. So that was about 75 quid in the sale. They're double that if you buy them outside the sale. And this last one is for it's for summer emergencies, essentially, summer road cycling emergencies. It's a packable jacket, and then the Endura Adrenaline, this is called. As you can see, it's just a single thin layer. I've never actually had to use it as a rain jacket yet, but the reviews are good. So far so good on that one. I can't give you a proper review on the waterproofing. Right, next category, we're going to look at gloves. So I've got 3 types of glove here for 3 types of seasons. So the first ones, we're going to look at these Vika gloves. Now, this is a company that specialises in vegan cycling wear, and these are absolutely outstanding gloves. I definitely recommend them. They're really hard wearing, they're really comfortable, and they look great as well with that retro aesthetic that they've got. I don't know what these cost, because they might be about 20-30 quid, but they are definitely worth the money. I would look into those by all means. Next, gloves. These are again kind of for transitional seasons, long fingered gloves, but not too thick. These are actually Danny McCaskill Endura mountain bike gloves, but they are really well finished. They've got a little bit of detailing here to help you grip the bars. They've got the foam thing on the fingers, and basically they keep you warm in temperatures down to around 5 degrees without excessively impeding your use of your fingers. And the last one are the fabled Aldi winter cycling gloves. I think these are about 4 quid. They last about a season if you're lucky, but they're warm, they're waterproof for short rides, and I know a lot of people like them. The question is, how ethical it is to buy stuff that you're going to throw away in a few months, but we do keep doing that. So now we're going to look at bike luggage, which is something I'm very fond of. First thing is this, and if we're talking about, as we were before, being able to be a cyclist in the city but not look too much like a cyclist, then that also extends what you carry your stuff around. I spent a lot of time looking for the right bag to replace my last one, and this is the one that I settled on. It's the New Lux Postino shoulder bag. It's a pannier, as you can see at the back, so you can carry it on your rack. Just a couple of clips on there, really sturdy, never had any issues with it coming off. And you can see I've been using it for about 6 months and it's worn pretty well. There's a tiny little bit of rubbing there, and it's a really good size. You've got a front pocket, a zip pocket, you've got a pocket here that I just keep all my stuff that I need to get to quickly, and then inside it's very well secured, and then there's a big compartment in there that you can carry quite a lot of stuff in. And as I say, you zip the clips away, you get the strap out, you carry it into a meeting, and it looks like a regular briefcase style bag. This was about 35 quid from, I think, Athlete Shop, one of the European websites. If you want smart bike luggage for around the city, it's the Dutch that do it the best, so that's where I got that from. Definitely recommend that. My only criticism of it is you can't get anything like this in upcycled materials. There's a lot of companies that are making this kind of product out of old tarpaulins and old advertising hoardings. You can't get this bag, so if anyone out there is looking for that, if you make that, I would buy it next time. Next, a couple of things that we've looked at already. This is an Alpkit top tube bag, sits on the top tube. It's easy to get your phone and your wallet out of. Look at the video we did on the tour for a bit more information on that one. Likewise, the Alpkit stem cell, which has become a real essential on any kind of ride. It just sits in the front of the handlebars, and basically you can just put your food in there, and it's really easy to get to. You can also carry a little bit more food than you might otherwise with just your jersey on. Continuing the bike packing theme, we looked at this one before. This is the Restrap saddle pack. This is the 14-litre version, which is an incredibly well made, again British made piece of luggage, which it's about 100 quid this, but it's, you know, it's solidly made. Yeah, I would recommend looking at it if you're going along the bike packing route. And then this is the Brooks Isle of Wight saddle bag, which I bought with, I think I had a Brooks voucher. This is what I take on basically club rides, road cycling rides, and you can just keep a decent amount of stuff in the back there. All your tools, luggage, bit of nutrition. And this is the medium size, and it's just perfect, and it looks great. And you can slip a light in there as well. You can clip a light through, which gives you an extra little bit of visibility at the back. And then this is a little bit of an oddity that I picked up this year. This is the Ostrich saddle bag. It doesn't work too well as a saddle bag because the angle that it clips to the seat post means that you're clipping it with your legs every time you pedal. But weirdly, this is the perfect size and shape to be used as a handlebar bag on Jones bars. So I'll put it on the bike with the Jones bars, and we'll take a photo so you can see how that works. So that's why I bought that. It's a saddle bag, but I bought it as a handlebar bag. Okay, so next we're going to talk about tech, various bits of technology you can use on and around the bike. I don't know about you, but I find navigation devices a real pain. I don't think there are any really good ones at the moment. I don't think the state of technology is reflected in the market for bike computers. This is the Mio Cyclo 605. I mean, it's a decent enough unit. You see it's got a nice big clear screen on it. It's got all the metrics that you want. You can customize the dashboard, you customize the things you see on it. This one comes with power meter, cadence sensor, heart rate monitor, etc. It's fine. They also advertise it as having a 15-hour battery life, which is nowhere near its actual capacity. It has a battery life of maximum 5 hours, which is really irritating because if you're on a bike ride of any distance, 5 hours isn't actually very long. I find myself forced to take along one of these and charge it up at the coffee stop. A good device, but battery life lets it down. Cost wise, this costs 300 quid. Well, that seems to be what you're spending on, you know, bike units these days. This is a cheaper one. This is about 100 quid. This is a B-line. And the idea of the B-line is you just strap it to your handlebars. It's a really nice little mechanism. Just sits in like that. It runs via your phone. You enter a destination and it either will just point you in the general direction and you just follow an arrow and make your own way through streets and whatever, or you can give it a route option and it will swing the arrow around. And it's a really great idea. The only problem is it isn't waterproof, and as you can see, this one is currently, well, it's basically failed because I took it on mountain biking in Scotland in the rain. You know, as it's advertised to be able to do that, but it, you know, it can't stand rain beyond a certain level. So that's something they need to look at in their publicity, or redesign the unit. So would I recommend this? It's a great idea, but I think it still needs some tweaking. So watch out for their fully waterproof model. Watches, so I used this for a while. You can see this is actually a new unit. This is the TomTom Runner 3 watch. Cost about 100 quid. This is the basic version with no heart rate monitor or anything on it. It is a great little watch. It sits in there. It's got one button. It's really easy to use, but it does seem to be a little flimsy. So the reason this is in a bag is because just after a year, my unit failed and I had to send it back for a replacement. I've now replaced that with this, which is the Huawei watch. Goes for about 150, 170 if you can find the right deal. It's a kind of smart watch stroke sports watch. It seems fine for tracking short rides and runs, less so for longer ones. I'm still trying to figure out the quirks of it, but it does lots of other great stuff, like it pairs with your phone, so you get notifications and messages on it. You can use it as basically as a mini smartphone. You can even, if you want to, use it like a spy watch and make phone calls on it, but I've not actually got around to doing that yet. And in terms of stuff that isn't navigation, this has been a real revelation this year. This is the Trex titanium headphone unit, and the way this works is you pop it on your head, and the speakers don't actually go in your ear, they sit in front of your ear, and they conduct the sound through the bone into your hearing sensors. And the idea behind that is that you can use it when you're cycling or running, and you can still have your full hearing for what's around you, so you can still hear traffic, etc. But at the same time, you can be listening to whatever you want to be listening to at a reasonable volume. And I find it incredibly calming to listen to podcasts while I'm cycling. It really keeps my adrenaline rates down if I've got somebody telling me nice, soothing facts into my, well, through my skull essentially with these as I'm cycling along. So I would definitely recommend those. They're about 100 quid. In terms of podcasts, my favourite podcast is one that comes out of New York called The War on Cars. Check it out because it is absolutely fantastic. It's about how we design our cities, it's about how we conceive of the spaces we live in. It's not just about bicycles, it's about walking, it's about public transport, and the people who do it are incredibly sharp and funny and intelligent and wise. So give that one a listen. And now we're going to talk about accessories. First of all, I've ended up owning rather a lot of this. My favourite colour is orange. This is Evans own brand bar tape. They've had this on special offer for like 2 or 3 quid for months, and it is actually really decent stuff. It's springy, it's comfortable, and if you like the colours they have reduced, then I would definitely recommend that. Bike lights, I don't think you can ever have enough of these. These are Alpkit Tau TAU lights, one of each. They cost about 12 quid each, and they have an incredibly long life. I've done night rides with these and they've lasted through the night. And what's great about them is that each one comes simply with one short and one long band, right? Because often if you have a strap with, you know, different holes in it, it's difficult to get that around certain parts of the bike, especially if you're on a road bike where there aren't many places to put a light. So this is the rear one. You put it on the short band, it goes on the seat stay, it sits there snug, and you don't have to worry about it. So I would definitely recommend those. Another thing I've got into in a big way this year is mirrors, bicycle mirrors, mainly for commuting, so knowing what's going on behind you before you have to make a decision to pull out, etc. is incredibly useful. With that, you know, and having a mirror, you don't have to keep looking behind you. So I think there's a real kind of safety element in it. But I've also found if you're riding in a group, it helps, again, just to be able to check who's behind you, is everybody together, etc. I know many people think they are deeply uncool, but you know, I really don't care. But these are a couple of others that I've got. So this is a Zefal spin, and you swivel it that way and that way, or that way. And then what's great about it as well is you can clip it up like that if you want to lean the bike. This is the Zefal Spy. This just clips onto any bar. It doesn't need to go in the bar end in any way. I've not actually found a use for this one yet, but I will at some point. A very quick book review here. I've read a few books or received a few books about bicycles. Absolute pick of the crop this year is this one. Me, My Bike and a Street Dog Called Lucy. I went to a talk by this woman, Ishbel Holmes, who is an absolutely compelling human being. She just got on a plane with a bike, she'd had enough of her life, and she basically decided to cycle the world, picked up a street dog in Turkey, and decided to cycle it to a dog shelter. It's so well written, and it's, you know, an amazing story. It's a real page turner. There are very few books I've read in one sitting. This is one of them. These two books are actually quite similar. We've got Cyclists by Michael Hutchinson, and It's All About the Bike by Robert Penn. They're basically, from slightly different angles, the history of the bicycle. They're both really good books. And then these are two that I've just received this Christmas. So this one looks a fascinating read. It's called Bike Lanes Are White Lanes. Quite a controversial idea, which basically says, you know, is this whole drive to shift cities towards cycling and walking essentially an imposition of a, you know, a kind of white culture essentially, on places that don't necessarily want that and don't necessarily have that in their history. So I'm really looking forward to reading that. There is a podcast as well about it, which we can link to. And this one looks very interesting as well, because it combines two key issues, cycling and battling climate change and bicycle touring. Definitely look forward to reading that. So the last category I'm going to talk about is nutrition. I don't know about you, but I find most cycling nutrition just awful. Just awful. Can we cut that out? Bloop. Right, I'm going to start this whole section again. Bloop. I find most cycling nutrition really unpalatable. You know, a lot of these kind of performance bars, they really just taste like compacted sawdust. So I was incredibly relieved to come across this company, which is called Veloforte, who have basically adapted an old Italian recipe, the pan forte, which was what pilgrims used to use to keep them going on long hikes essentially, and they've adapted that into sports nutrition, and it really is the best sports nutrition that you will ever taste. So it comes in, I mean, I just bought a big job lot here. This Choco really is outstanding. I mean, you can actually eat this. A friend of mine, he said he bought a big pack and he ate them all just as chocolate bars rather than sports nutrition. It is that good. Another really nice thing they've got is this, and let me just find this again. So what they've done here is they've got a few of their favourite flavours, and they've chopped them up into tiny little bites, and that will give you a little boost. You know, if you're just flagging, say going up a hill, you don't want to stop to have a full chocolate bar or a full nutrition bar. Just one of these will get you there. And this is, again, combined with the Alp Kit stem cell. You just pop it in there, you can get in there while you're cycling. It's an absolutely brilliant combination. First few bars they've brought out aren't vegan, they've got honey in them. They have got a few vegan bars now. In here I've also got a few Green Line vegan protein bars, which I happened across, which I haven't actually tried yet, but maybe we'll put those in next year. So this year I got a new bike, which is this one, which is a Van Nicholas Ski Run frame, which I bought in about February, and then spent the rest of the year just buying the components that I wanted to put on it, and we got it ready by about August. So going through the main things, I'm not going to go through everything. So the wheels that we've got on here are Hunt 4 Season gravel disc, gravel wheels as opposed to road wheels, because, you know, the roads in Manchester and the places that we ride aren't particularly smooth, so I just went for a slightly more robust model. We've got TRP Spire mechanical disc brakes on there, which I find incredibly easy to maintain and, you know, to kind of keep sharp. Got a Shimano 105 11 speed drivetrain on there. You can see the bike's been used. I haven't had a chance to clean it yet. Tyre wise, we've gone for Continental Grand Prix 4 Season. And you can see we've got a puncture in there from winter riding. And then Here we've got this cat eye mirror that I've been talking about, which is just in such a good place. And when you're on the bars here, you know, you can see between your arm. Brooks Cambium saddle, Brooks rubber bar tape, which is, again, I bought that this year. It's about 30 quid for a roll, maybe 25, 30 quid, but it is made out of natural rubber and it's incredibly comfortable. Brick Lane bikes, seat post, hook, saddle clamp. Yeah, so that's my new bike. Any questions, just ask in the comments.